In the heart of northern India, there's a geological feature of truly immense significance. It's a range of mountains, worn down by time, that has shaped the climate, the ecology, and even the human history of the subcontinent for millennia. We're talking about the Aravalli Range, a vast and ancient system whose health is now completely intertwined with the well-being of one of the most densely populated regions on Earth.
To really get the Aravalli, you have to wrap your head around just how incredibly old it is. It was formed way back in the Proterozoic era, a relic from a time when the continents were arranged very differently. It actually predates the mighty Himalayas by over 1 billion years, which makes it one of the oldest fold mountain systems on the planet. Over countless eons, wind and water have weathered it down. So its gentle slopes aren't a sign of weakness, but a testament to this immense age. And of course, that long geological history also made it rich in minerals, a fact that's become a major driver of the conflict over its future.
So what you see today is this mosaic of arid forests, rocky ridges, and vital water bodies, like the Kurla Pond you see here. For centuries, this ecosystem has basically functioned as a critical life support system. It moderates the climate, it harbors unique wildlife, and most importantly, it captures monsoon rains to replenish the groundwater that millions of people depend on. But here's the thing. This ancient guardian is now a system in crisis. Its vital functions are failing under decades of intense and often unregulated human activity.
So in this explainer, we're going to conduct a kind of investigation into the state of the Aravalli. We'll look at its crucial role as the climate barrier, document the immense pressures causing it to decline, and analyze the scientific diagnosis of the damage. Then we'll explore the blueprint for its restoration, the governance needed to secure its future, and finally, consider what the next chapter holds for this venerable range.
All right, let's begin by establishing precisely what's at stake here. The Aravalli isn't just a geographical feature, not just a line on a map. It's a fundamental pillar of North India's ecological and hydrological stability, and its degradation has consequences that reach far and wide.
The range actually performs several critical interconnected functions. Its northeast to southwest orientation acts as a physical wall, blocking dust storms from the west and preventing the Thar Desert from expanding eastward. Its fractured, porous rocks act like a giant sponge, making it the primary groundwater recharge zone for the entire National Capital Region, including Delhi and Gurugram. It's also a vital corridor for wildlife, allowing species like leopards and hyenas to move across a very fragmented landscape. It's also a global biodiversity hotspot, and its forest cover protects the entire watershed, preventing topsoil from eroding and softening the blow of extreme weather. So in short, the health of this single ecosystem directly impacts the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the climate we live in.
Now, despite its obvious importance, the Aravalli is a system under profound stress. The evidence of its decline is literally written across the landscape. It's a story of degradation driven by decades of relentless human pressure. So now we're going to investigate the key factors behind this decline.
For decades now, the pressures of rapid urbanization, unchecked real estate development, and resource extraction they've taken a severe toll. What was once a resilient, self-sustaining ecosystem is now fragmented, polluted, and really just fighting for its survival against a tide of unsustainable growth.
This number, it represents a pretty stark reality. Since 2011, the surface area of Damdama Lake, a key water body in the Haryana Aravallis, has shrunk by more than half. What used to be a 44-hectare lake after the monsoons is now just a fraction of its former self. And this isn't just about losing a nice view. It signifies a systemic failure. It points to a severe drop in surface runoff and a collapsing water table, a quantifiable symptom of a much larger water crisis gripping the whole region.
These maps offer a dramatic visual of the problem. On the left, a map from 2007 shows a complex, healthy network of streams feeding the region. On the right, just 4 years later in 2011, that network is visibly and drastically diminished. Scientific analysis shows that the length of the most critical, highest-order streams was cut by more than 2/3 in this period. This is not some natural fluctuation. It's a direct consequence of activities like illegal mining and construction, which physically change the landscape, block natural drainage channels, and effectively starve the ecosystem of its lifeblood.
The stressors are numerous, and they're all connected. Air quality is poor, with particulate matter levels often 3 to 6 times above the legal limits. Illegal mining for stone and minerals carves deep scars into the land, destroying the topography and the hydrology. Unmanaged solid waste from nearby towns and villages gets dumped into natural ravines, clogging drainage systems and leaching pollutants into the soil. And of course, the immense thirst of the National Capital Region drives unsustainable groundwater extraction. On top of all this, an invasive foreign plant, Prosopis juliflora, is spreading aggressively. This hardy plant just outcompetes native vegetation for scarce water and creates these dense, thorny thickets, disrupting the entire ecosystem as local wildlife unknowingly helps spread its seeds.
And you have to understand, this ecological degradation has profound social consequences. As the forest's resources, like grazing land, medicinal herbs, and clean water disappear, so do the traditional livelihoods of local communities. That delicate balance of coexistence between humans and wildlife gets broken, leading to more conflict. This erosion of resources and cultural connection fuels a deep-seated frustration, and that is the primary reason for community-led protests, as people fight to protect not just their natural heritage, but their access to basic resources and their very way of life.
So, in response to this escalating crisis, a comprehensive scientific study was initiated by the Guru Jal Society. The idea is simple. To effectively heal a system as complex as the Aravalli, you first have to diagnose the full extent of the damage with objective, verifiable data. This baseline assessment is that critical first step.
The Guru Jal baseline assessment is really the foundation of the entire restoration project. It's not just a survey, it's a systematic, scientific accounting of the state of the ecosystem's geology, hydrology, and biodiversity. It establishes a reference point, a snapshot in time against which all future progress can be measured. Without this baseline, any restoration effort would just be guesswork. With it, every action can be informed by data, and every outcome can be evaluated for its true impact.
To understand the threat to the region's water, scientists use tools like the Drastic Index. This is a standardized way to assess how vulnerable groundwater is to pollution. Each letter in Drastic represents a different factor, like the depth of the water table, the rate of recharge, the type of aquifer media and soil, and so on. By analyzing these 7 parameters, the index creates a vulnerability map, identifying hotspots, like the villages of Damdama and Abepur, where the groundwater is at high risk of contamination from things like septic tanks and waste dumps.
The ecological survey revealed a landscape in conflict. On one hand, it showed incredible resilience. 262 native plant species were identified. This included what are called climax species, like Kumtha and Dock. A climax species is crucial because it represents a mature, stable, and self-sustaining ecosystem. But on the other hand, the study documented a relentless invader, Prosopis juliflora. This non-native species thrives in degraded conditions, outcompeting native plants and creating a monoculture that offers little value to local wildlife, fundamentally changing the very character of the Aravalli forest.
Okay, so armed with this detailed scientific diagnosis, a comprehensive, data-driven restoration plan was developed. It's a blueprint for healing this ancient ecosystem, often referred to as a green wall project, which is aimed at both ecological and hydrological revival.
The strategy is a holistic, 3-pronged approach. First, healing the land itself through soil and water conservation across the watershed. Second, reviving the hydrological heart of the system by rejuvenating Damdama Lake. And third, fostering new life by developing a 420-acre biodiversity park on degraded forest land. And these aren't separate projects. They are interconnected parts of a single vision, where the health of the surrounding area directly determines the health of the lake.
The techniques they're using are a blend of civil engineering and nature-based solutions. Across the catchment area, check dams are being built. These simple structures slow down monsoon runoff, which reduces erosion and allows more water to seep into the ground to recharge aquifers. In smaller channels, gully plugs made of local rock and soil do a similar job on a smaller scale, trapping precious topsoil. And on bare slopes, biodegradable jute netting is laid down to stabilize the earth, creating a microenvironment that gives native grasses and shrubs a chance to take root and begin the slow process of recovery.
Now, this restoration isn't a short-term fix. It's a meticulously planned, multi-year process. The immediate phase is all about crisis management, clearing debris from the lake and starting the dredging process to increase how much water it can hold. The midterm phase then expands outward to the surrounding landscape, implementing those soil conservation measures and developing a nursery for native plants. And finally, the long-term phase is about securing a sustainable future, systematically planting native species, creating community access with walking trails, and setting up a system for continuous scientific monitoring to guide the work as they go.
An ecological blueprint, no matter how scientifically sound,
is only as strong as the human architecture that supports it. For this project to succeed, it needs a robust framework of governance, one that strategically involves people, policy, and partnerships.
This word cloud, which was generated from extensive interviews with local residents, really illustrates the deep connection between the community and the Aravalli. Words like water, livelihood, cultural, and ecological just dominate. This shows that the landscape isn't just a backdrop, it's a source of identity, sustenance, and spiritual significance. Any successful restoration has to recognize and build on this relationship, making sure the community is an active partner, not just a passive bystander.
The project very intelligently aligns itself with existing national government initiatives, which is a critical step for ensuring long-term sustainability and the ability to scale up. By tapping into programs like Amrit Sarovar for water body rejuvenation and Atal Bhujal Yojana for groundwater management, it places itself within a larger policy framework. Crucially, it leverages the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, or MGNRGA, to provide the labor for restoration work. This creates green jobs and gives the local community a direct economic stake in the project's success. So it becomes more than just a local initiative, it's part of a larger, coordinated national effort.
And to ensure this effort endures for generations, the project is investing directly in people. A youth fellowship program recruits young men and women from local villages, training them in both the science of conservation and the skills of community mobilization. These fellows act as a vital bridge between the project team and the community, helping to coordinate on-site work, gather feedback, and build a powerful sense of local ownership. They are being empowered to become the future stewards of this restored ecosystem.
So, we've examined the ancient past of the Aravalli, we've documented the present crisis, and we've explored the ambitious plan for its future. We now turn to its next chapter, one that is being actively and deliberately written by this comprehensive restoration effort.
The central question remains: can this blend of science, community action, and policy alignment truly save an ecosystem that has endured for over 1 billion years, but has been brought to the brink in just a matter of decades? The blueprint is sound, the science is robust, and the community will is there. But the external pressures from urbanization and resource extraction, they haven't disappeared. The challenges remain immense.
The future of the Aravalli is not a predetermined fate. It's a choice. It's a result that will be forged in the meticulous execution of scientific plans, in the hard work of villagers planting native trees, and, critically, in the consistent enforcement of environmental laws and policy decisions made in government offices. The path to restoration is long and difficult, but for this ancient guardian of the subcontinent, the fight for its next chapter, a chapter of recovery and resilience, has begun.